Good evening. My name is John Ree, and I'm a co-lay leader for the Capitol River District with my friend Oral Franklin Rogers. We're looking forward to seeing you at the annual conference next week in Jackson. If you happen to see us on the Millsap campus or any of the other conference venues, please grab us and say hello. In the meantime, thank you for attending this lay executive session. We have a lot to cover tonight and want to be respectful of your time. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Halford, our Conference Associate Director of Lay Leadership. Sarah?
Good evening, everyone. Like John said, my name is Sarah Halford. I'm the Associate Director for Lay Leadership for our annual conference. I'm going to go over just a couple of Zoom webinar logistics. Many of you, I'm sure, have joined Zoom meetings before. The webinars function just a little bit differently. Again, this is a webinar, not a meeting. You'll notice that participants are not able to use the camera function and you're not going to be able to unmute yourself. But we do encourage you to use the chat feature, and I see that many of you already are, and I thank you for that. Please continue to use the chat feature to talk among yourselves, but also talk to everyone else. One other thing is that we will be using the Q&A feature, which is a question and answer feature. If you're on a computer or laptop, you'll most likely find the Q&A button labeled with a question mark at the bottom of your screen. If you're on a phone, you may have to touch your screen or swipe for the menu bar to appear to see the Q&A button. But just so you're aware, if you're going to submit something to the Q&A regarding a specific presentation or a topic, we may not be able to answer the question in the session. If you've got somebody who's presenting, they may not be able to pivot and answer your direct question. So please, if you submit a question to the Q&A, please include your first name and last name and an email address so that we will make sure that we can follow up with you and get you an answer to your question if we cannot answer it in session. Another feature that we'll use during the webinar tonight is the polling feature. You'll see as we get to these points, a question will pop up on your screen. If you're on a phone, you may have to swipe to see it, but you'll know when it comes. We'll talk about it as that time comes, but you will just click and answer. Some polls will have 2 questions. You will click both answers and then you could submit it, and then we will look in real time at just looking at those results. One thing for anyone who may be joining us on Facebook or YouTube, we are live streaming to both those platforms. Just as an awareness, you will not be able to see the polls. We are having Board of Lady members that will read the polls aloud. However, we can't physically Zoom. It's a limitation within Zoom that we cannot physically show you the poll, like it won't pop up on the live stream. Those are just a few of the features. If you have any questions, again, feel free to put it in the chat or submit through the Q&A. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Mary Simpson, who is one of our Red Clay Hills District co-lay leaders, and she is going to offer us some scripture tonight.
Good evening, everyone. As Sarah said, I'm Mary Simpson from the Red Clay Hills District. I am the district lay leader east of the district. The laity of the Mississippi Conference Annual Conference of United Methodist Churches is a community of believers. In John chapter 17, Jesus prayed that the community of believers would be known for unity, joy, growth in truth, and urgency of mission. In John 17:11, Jesus asked for unity to protect them so that they may be one as we are one. Jesus also asked the Father to let unity be a defining mark of the church. In John 17:13, it reads, "May they have the full measure of my joy within them." One of the greatest benefits of community is the encouragement it brings. In John 17:18, I have sent them into the world. Believers in Jesus were never intended to isolate themselves from the outside world. In Matthew 28:18 through 20, Christ calls us to live in community. As we are gathered together for this lay executive session, Kay West will lead us in prayer.
Good evening. I'm Kay West, and I'm from the Gulf Pines District. I am the lay leader there. Last night, I completed a Bible study at church, and we ended it with the Wesley Covenant Prayer. And as I was thinking through that prayer and praying about what the prayer was speaking to me, I realized that we as clergy and lay leaders, laity of the Mississippi Annual Conference would be well served to revisit and reaffirm that prayer. I would like to share it with you now. Please bow. Gracious God, I am no longer my own, but yours. Put me to what you will. Rank me with whom you will. Put me to doing, put me to suffering. Let me be employed by you or laid aside for you. Exalted for you or brought low for you. Let me be full. Let me be empty. Let me have all things. Let me have nothing. I freely and wholeheartedly yield all things to your pleasure and disposal. We ask these things in the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Now we're going to hear an address from our Episcopal lay leader, Bishop Sharma Lewis Logan.
You're muted, Bishop.
As many times as we do this, I do not know why I am muted when I talk. Maybe I'm just so excited. But good evening, Mississippi Annual Conference. I am Bishop Sharma Denise Lewis Logan, your Episcopal leader, and I welcome you to our annual laity session. I pray that after this session, you are equipped and prepared for our annual conference held on next week, June 3rd through the 5th, 2026 at Millsaps College. I encourage all of you to take the time now to read our pre-conference journal. I would like to thank Mrs. Vera Thomas, as well as Mrs. Kaida Johnson, our district lay leaders. Of course, our district lay leaders, I would like to thank Mrs. Vera Thomas and Mrs. Kaida Johnson, our conference lay leaders, as well as to thank our district lay leaders. And I would also like to bring gratitude to our district administrative assistants, as well as my executive assistant, Annie Clay. A special thanks is extended tonight to Mrs. Sarah Halford, our Associate Director of Lay Ministry, and Miss Jasmine Haynes, our Communications Specialist. I am excited, I think y'all can tell that, but I am excited to announce that after 2 years in 2024 of hearing from you all and collecting data, but in the last 8 months of engaging the Mississippi Annual Conference Vision Task Force team, I want to announce that we have, after 12 years, we have a new vision statement for the annual conference. God is calling us into a new season. This vision is not about leaving our foundation behind. It is about building faithfully upon it. Every person in the Mississippi Annual Conference has a role. Every gift matters, and together we can become what God is calling us to be. When I was appointed in 2023, many of you asked, Bishop, what is your vision for the annual conference? And my reply at that time is I do not have a vision. And I have to be honest, when I had the Bishop's Chat and Chew 1.0 and Bishop's Chat and Chew 2.0, many of you looked at me very strangely. I am glad to report to stay tuned, that on June 3rd, which is next Wednesday, the new vision statement will be revealed. Our annual conference this year is when believers pray, vision is revealed, supported by the scripture of Habakkuk or Habakkuk, depending on how you pronounce it, chapter 2, verses 2 and 3. This scripture says, then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he or she may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. As I traveled around the annual conference during the Bishop's Chat and Chew 1.0 and 2.0, I asked a lot of questions. I listened to your heart. And I want to share with you that the vision and the vision statement has now been revealed. But again, I cannot tell you. I have to wait. Y'all have to wait until Wednesday. I want to share with you that the task force, the 28 individuals, they read the data. They researched about the data. They prayed over the data. And we together was able to cast the vision that you all shared with me. I want to tell you it's not my vision. It is the Mississippi Annual Conference vision, because we together was able to look at the themes. We were able to look at the questions as well as the answers. So next Wednesday, I need you all to pay close attention of how the Holy Spirit spoke through you to us. This vision belongs to all of us. In closing, I think you know that a vision is a clear and challenging mental portrait of a preferable future. Finally, I want to give thanks to the Mississippi Annual Conference Vision Task Force for their prayers and their work. I also want to share with you that if you want to understand our process, please go on the conference website and read about our journey. Read it on the landing page. Again, I want to share with you that it has been 12 years since we have had a new vision statement. So please come next week, as I know you will. Please come to hear what God has shared with all of us. And I'm excited to share with you that we have a new vision of the Mississippi Annual Conference. Again, I want to thank you, laity, as well as clergy that's on this call. But I want to thank you, laity, because we as clergy, we cannot do this by ourselves. I truly believe in clergy and laity relationship. And I truly believe that I am the Episcopal leader of the best annual conference in the Southeastern jurisdiction, better known as the SIP. So I'll see you next week. God bless you. I now turn it over to, I didn't forget Jazz, to Jasmine Hayes, our communication specialist. Take it away, Jazz.
It is all good, Bishop, and thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and let me say a special thank you to Mrs. Vera Thomas for giving me the opportunity to speak with everybody today in the Mississippi Annual Conference. Shout out to all the lay leaders and the Board of Laity. My name is Jasmine Haynes. I'm the Communications Specialist for the Mississippi Conference, and I'm super pumped to be with you all this evening, and I won't be before you super long. I do want to talk about ways that you can effectively use church communications with AI. And this is a hot take because it's just short amount of time, just ways that you can aid your church workflow. But before I get started, I do want to, observe the group, see what we're working with here. So we're going to take a little poll. Okay, so everybody get ready to take a poll. I just want to know where are we within the group? So how experienced are you? And that's any experience with artificial intelligence. Okay, are you clueless? Like I've never used anything. Are you beginner? You played with a little bit. You've experimented. Intermediate. You use it for some specific tasks. Or are you just a hot shot, you're advanced, you understand and use LLM prompting? If you don't know what LLM is, you are probably not advanced. But let me give you some, let me expand on that. LLM is an acronym for a large language model. So I've walked through that a bit. I'm going to give you guys a few more seconds to take that poll and to answer where it is you think you are. There is no right or wrong answer. We are always at a level of on the bell curve of where we adopt new things with innovation, right? Some of us are early adopters and some of us are not. So I think I still see numbers moving. I'll give you just a few more seconds. All right. So we're somewhere in between here. We've got about some people who've experimented and then a lot of people who say maybe kind of clueless. And that's okay. I'm gonna bring my poll down if I can see. And that's good. That's helpful to know where we are. So I'm gonna start sharing my presentation with you guys. Is it sharing yet? Well, hopefully you can see, I hear a little background noise too, so it may be some interference with that. But I just want to talk really briefly about ways that you can effectively use AI within the communications that you do in your church workflow, okay? So I do want to have us look at, just so we're all on the same page, I do realize we have some early adopters, but mostly folks who are kind of experimenting in at the beginning. So let's just have an operational definition of AI for the sake of this conversation. AI is artificial intelligence that refers to computer systems that use algorithms to perform complex tasks that normally require human cognition, such as reasoning and decision making, right? We've had AI around forever, really and truly. Well, not ever, but a really long time. But we're now getting to this point where we're using generative AI, okay? And so whether you know it or not, you're probably already using it, and you just may not be using large language models, but you're using it. So how many of you use voice assistants, and that's smart speakers? So you're calling out, hey, Google sometimes, or hey, Alexa around the house, and even with your phone, Siri. Or if you have email spam filters, customer service chatbots, maybe around your wrist, you have the medical wearable tech, your smartwatches and your fitness bands. All of those things are artificial intelligence. So you are, whether you know it or not, already in the midst of using those things, okay? And so like I said before, there's a difference between AI and then generative AI. And what I want to focus on tonight is to show how generative AI can help you. This is a broad topic again. I just want to touch base on a couple of things. And so one way to do that is to save time and increase productivity. You can spark innovation. You can use it for research and analysis and have some insights that maybe weren't as quickly or readily available to you as before. And then you can solve a lot of pain points, just things that are kind of irritating. And you can now create like, okay, is the poll still there? Okay. I will try to take the poll down. I don't see it on my screen. If that's something that can be taken down, Sarah, if you'll let me know. If not, I'll move it. But things that are pain points, things that you can streamline, right? And that they'll help you move. Why is that important? How does that help you particularly? Well, most likely you've got these projects at church that you were either volunteered for or you volunteered for. And even if that's within your ministry, and you don't have enough time and people to help you complete those tasks. So AI can be very helpful in that, okay? So let's touch on those quickly. And what I want you to walk away with today are just, again, we're all on this playing field, just to take away something that right after you get off this this lady session, it's a tool that you can try and play with it and maybe integrate into your daily ministry and church workflow, okay? So let's start with save time, increase productivity. Again, let's start with what's simple. You already use Google. You know what Google does. Utilize Google AI mode if you're not already. And if you're not as familiar with it, Google AI mode is generative AI, and it's like upgraded and integrated directly into your Google search. So you're used to search engines, whereas AI mode is like an answer engine, right? And so it's kind of undergirded by Gemini, which is Google's large language model with artificial intelligence. And so what happens here is it has this unique thing from regular Google is that it's a query fan out technology, which basically just means if you type in a complex prompt, AI is going to break down its responses to you and give you like background and layered responses, like bullets to fully answer everything that you're asking for. So if you're not using that already, that's a good place to start. It's already in your search engine, right? Another thing, when we look at sparking innovation, Canva. I hope a lot of you are taking advantage of Canva already. And I say again, why is this helpful to you, right? I don't know what your church is like, but if you're like me, you're a small congregation and you don't have a graphic designer who is a member of the church, you still want things to look good. Canva is a web-based design platform, and it just kind of have simple templates that you can use and put your stuff in. And then you have Canva AI tools, which is something that it really serves as a design assistant, right? And you can generate images and it writes copies and it can even build a presentation from what it is that you put as a prompt. It's got a lot of features. But what I really hope you also look into is Canva for nonprofits. And that is useful to you because as a church, you can apply and you can use Canva Pro for pretty much free and get all of those extra added bonuses that you can use within your church communications. And all you have to do is go to gcfa.com, go find your group ruling letter, which every church has in the United Methodist Church. We're under an umbrella. And upload that with your application and wait for them to respond, okay? It has a lot of features that you can use, a lot of templates, and they all have videos to support you and show you, like they have a whole academy. It is awesome to just kind of get you up to speed really quickly, even if you're a beginner in Canva, okay? Let's look at research and analysis. If I can get my next slide going here. Research and analysis and providing insights. Who couldn't use help with that, right? So Perplexity is an AI search engine and a research assistant as well. And what's really cool about this is it's a little faster than Google, and it does search sites for sources, right? The thing to remember is you want to be able to tell people where the research is from. You don't want just anything, because anything is on the internet. This is an answer engine that combines advanced large language models to provide not only direct feedback in real time, it saves you time, it does analysis for you, but it also gives you citations. So you can always verify what it is that it found, double check it, and you can also have transparency with what you're using. How is that helpful? Sometimes if you're researching the data around your neighborhood, how do we best serve this community? What is it that they would really like? Would it be a garage sale, a food pantry, or a health fair? You know, you can research these things and not take hours and hours out of your day, because I know everybody is working. And this can speed up that for you. It'll provide insights and do the research for you. Let me give you another one. Solving pain points. ScribeHow is an AI-powered tool that automatically generates step-by-step guides and standardizes your operating procedures. Why is this helpful? Well, because in the United Methodist Church, we have people constantly changing in roles, right? In leadership roles in the church, as well as our pastors are itinerant. So you always want to have a succession plan, right? So when you have the person who's done the website forever and all of a sudden they move or, they leave us one way or another, you want to have a plan of succession so somebody can easily get back up to speed. Scribe can help you do that, because as you're walking through whatever your process is, it creates a manual that's helpful to pass that information on to the next person so that you have continuity in the services or the ministry and things that you're offering in whatever role you serve in at that church, okay? So that's how that's helpful. Again, there's resources for all of these things are at least free for 30 days if they're not all the way free. So something to look into. Something I do have to give you a warning of, because I can't give you all the grade and not give you the warnings. Just be mindful. Here's some things to remember. Garbage in, garbage out. People put trash on the internet. You always want to verify your sources and make sure that it's true. Make sure that you have good, solid information with whatever it is that you're using. AI can interpret culture, right? It can write things, it can do different things, but you being human, you understand culture and nuance. So be mindful of that. Third, I would say AI is not like you. We are made in God's image, and we are made from the being, the God, the deity who created all of creation and have been gifted with that creative power. So just know that's something unique to us, and it's really using an average of the information and all the algorithms that it finds on the internet, but you have the unique power to create. And finally, take a human in the loop approach with everything. You want to ensure that AI generated content is reviewed, refined, and guided by people. You definitely want to use ethical guidelines and governance with anything in AI. That gets real deep. Again, I don't have a lot of time, so that's a whole nother workshop. I don't want to leave you without resources. So I do want to let you know that our denomination is on top of this, and actually within Discipleship Ministries, which is our arm, our general agency that helps, of course, with materials and resources for ministry mission at our local churches, has created a job called an AI agent. They already have somebody who's looking at this. They've put forth a few things in this series called Harnessing AI for Good. Again, you can find it at Discipleship Ministries. There's a session 1, there's a beginning, and then there's also a session 2. 1, it goes from curious to capable, and 2 goes from capable to building workflows. So there's a poll question coming up. I really just wanted to give this to you so you'd have time to think about it. But if you had the opportunity to learn more about something in communications, which would be one of these topics that are most valuable to you? And this is going to come up as a poll question, but I figured I'd put it on the screen just to give you a moment to read and think about it. But folks, that is my presentation. I really hope that you have picked up something that maybe you didn't know before, and a tool that you can use today. Go play with it. Let me know how it went, and then tell me what else you love to learn so we can move a step further. God bless. I know everybody's got supper to cook and kids to help do homework and the other shows going on tonight. So you didn't have to be on this line. I thank you for your time, and I pray you have a blessed evening. So I'm going to lead this over to my brother, Lent Ross. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. I'm Lent Ross. I am the Northern Hills District co-lay leader along with Tom Wicker. And I am here to present our first poll question. And this was an easy one. What is your conference district? Are you in Northern Hills, Central District, Capitol River District, Red Clay, or Gulf Pines District? And we will give you a few minutes. I'm going to cut it back to a few seconds. You ought to know this one. But anyway, we'll give you a few minutes and see how this turns out, see who all's here. And don't forget what Sarah said, if you're in on a cell phone or something like that, you may have to swipe to the right or left or one way or the other. And just a few more seconds. And we will see who all showed up from where. Here we go. Wow. Capitol River showed up strong. Northern Hills is here, Central District, Red Clay Hills, and Gulf Pines District. Very good, folks. Well, thank you very much. Do we have a second poll question, or are we done with that, Sarah? Are we moving on?
We're going to move on. I put
Okay.
the poll questions in the wrong order.
Oh, very good. Thank you. No worries. Thank you for everybody for showing up tonight. And I'm going to turn it over to the Reverend Dana Goff, who is going to give us a disaster update. Dana?
Thanks so much, Lent. Let me prepare here to share my screen and we'll get started. Let's see, that would be 2. Did that work for somebody? Nod. Jasmine, give me a yes or no. Thank you. Okay, because I can see you on my screen. So good evening, Mississippi Conference. I'm the Reverend Dana Goff. I currently serve as the Director of Connectional Ministries and Spiritual Leadership. Let's see, gotta move this again so I can see. I'm grateful of the disaster response falls under my portfolio for the Office of Connectional Ministry, so that's my connection to this. I'm grateful to the Conference Board of Laity for the opportunity and the privilege to share with y'all tonight. My assigned task for the evening was to update you on the response to Winter Storm Fern. We made a response that involved several teams making their way into the northern part of the state once the roads thawed out to help with the assessment of damages and cleanup of yards. We were also able to offer some comfort through a delivery of needed hygiene kits from one of our coast storage facilities. The recovery work in the north is still in progress. In fact, just in the last couple of weeks, information has been distributed by MEMA to get the process started for those that had major damage to homes. It's a process that happens over time. So I decided tonight I wanted to share with you a little about the process itself. A few things we'll consider tonight are listed here. Disaster ministry works best when we're in partnership. My hope is to inspire you to think about how you and your community and your church can be involved in disaster recovery. So what is community disaster response and who are our partners? Community disaster response is an opportunity for the church to help their neighbors. It's neighbors helping neighbors. So many people will say to me, I just can't do anything to help in a disaster type setting. You may be surprised at what you can do. If you can take notes, you can help track data as information comes in. You can help prepare and serve food. You can provide a listening ear Just sit with someone in their pain and grief and the trauma of disaster. You can help distribute supplies. There's so many things and needs during that time. In times of crisis, people often turn to the church. So community disaster response is an opportunity for the church, to be faith in action. For us in the United Methodist Church, our biggest partner is UMCOR, the United Methodist Committee on Relief. I grew up in the church with the understanding that we are UMCOR. You and I, as United Methodist, are all UMCOR. I still believe that today. The UMCOR United States Disaster Response personnel seek to undergird and support the conferences of the United Methodist Church and others, helping them make a positive difference in the lives of those impacted by disaster. UMCOR partners with the conference, just as the conference partners with their local churches and other organizations in the communities when they're affected by disasters. Something that you may or may not know about our disaster response work is that disasters are locally owned. That means that no one from outside the disaster impacted community should be rushing in to help unless they have received an invitation to do so. So as we respond as we are invited. So when invited, these are some things that UMCOR can offer: consultation, technical assistance, grants, training, relief supplies, promotion of partner relations and resources. UMCOR can help the United Methodist Church, and does, and our community partners think through our capacity to respond and help identify resources needed to assist in relief, as well as in the short-term and long-term recovery. One of the ways UMCOR does that is through training. As you see, UMCOR offers training on many aspects of disaster response work. I would guess that if we took a poll on this, that most of you may have heard of the early response team training, but you should know that our Mississippi Disaster Response Team has a group of trained disaster case managers, a couple of whom have worked for the Mississippi Conference in Disaster Response about 10 years or so. They're employed by the Mississippi Annual Conference, and they're an active part of the Mississippi Conference Disaster Response Team, but their salaries are paid through UMCOR grants. This group is well respected in the disaster communities, and they're frequently invited to consult with other agencies that are involved in disaster recovery. So early response team training, this is one of the courses that we offer to local churches upon request across the annual conference. Early response teams play a critical role in those early days following a disaster. The community's not yet in the recovery phase, but you've passed the rescue phase. So the early response team goes in to try to help mitigate further damage by tarping a roof to prevent further damage until insurance inspectors can do their work. Our teams may go in and clean yards or clear flooded homes. And due to the trauma experienced by disaster survivors, as I mentioned, there is a great need for skilled, sympathetic listeners, people who can sit and listen to others without trying to fix them. Willie Morris is our conference early response team trainer and coordinator. I renewed my own ERT badge in one of his classes last year. He has a wealth of knowledge and experience, as he has both trained teams and has led many teams over the years. We can provide this for you by request, from your churches, and get a group together and offer these classes. The time to prepare for a disaster is before it happens. Early response team training is a great way to get started. Another course that we're hoping to introduce in Mississippi is UMCOR's training program called Connecting Neighbors. Connecting Neighbors is a program designed to help congregations become disaster ready and to respond effectively to emergencies within the community. We have a relief supply network. Many of you may be familiar with Sager Brown in Baldwin, Louisiana. Through these warehouses, UMCOR assists with relief supplies such as cleanup kits, hygiene kits, and more. You can access a list of the items for those kits on the UMCOR website and have a packing party of those supplies, which will help others when disaster strikes. We're currently with our new district disaster coordinators. We're trying to identify which of your churches may already be holding items, so that we know where to access those items when they're available. Or if you don't have space to store them, we find another church in the district that's able to do that. And these it's really work in progress as we have reduced from 7 to 5 districts and identified new coordinators in all of the areas. Many of you may be aware that Sager Brown in Baldwin, Louisiana will cease operations as a supply depot in January 2027. The closest warehouse to us will then be the Disaster Relief Warehouse in Decatur, Alabama. We do have a couple of facilities on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in the Gulf Pines district that have equipment and store needed items and kits to distribute in times of need. That's where the kits were stored that made it to North Mississippi after the winter storm. These are maintained by the Gulf Pines District Disaster Response Team, led by District Disaster Response Coordinator, the Reverend David Huffman. Supplies or support from outside the facilities is typically requested by our conference disaster response coordinator, Teresa Radcliffe of Meridian, who often coordinates that response with the state or local VOAD, which brings us to another important partner that we have, which is the VOAD. VOAD is the organization for volunteers in ministry. We're going to move on from that and give a word about context and coordination. What is the role of the church and community in this? Well, if we think about the definition of community, this means that all of us have a responsibility to be prepared for disasters, to respond, to recover from disasters, and to learn from disasters. This includes the church, which is an integral part of the community. So how is all of this coordinated? Well, the best response is preparation. The time to plan is before disaster happens, and I just can't say that enough. And preparation means planning. Does your church, organization, or group have a plan? If yes, have you read it? Do you even know where it is so that you can read it? Has it been communicated? Has it been practiced? A plan should be simple, straightforward, and easy to follow. It's an action plan. Who does what when? Everyone needs a plan. Your family needs a plan. You need a plan for organizations you're a part of. By planning ahead, then you can respond rather than react. So how do we coordinate that? Well, I mentioned Teresa Radcliffe. She's our conference disaster response coordinator in the Red Clay Hills district. But for the conference, she works to coordinate with the district coordinators and all of our churches and leadership in the conference to get a picture of what's happening in impacted areas and to determine what resources might be needed. And then we request those resources and locate and get those delivered. We work closely with other partners to share information and communicate resources and needs. We coordinate what happens most effectively when we have developed relationships in times of blue skies before the disasters happen. Relationships with emergency management, with VOAD partners, with other churches in the community, and so forth. We do now have our district disaster response coordinators in all 5 districts, and in many ways, we are still working to rebuild district teams and are doing initial orientations and training. So there's so much more to be done and so much yet to come. But the work has begun and is ongoing. Eventually, we begin to transition from the chaos of relief and the response to the more structured and methodical work of long-term recovery. Immediate needs are met, and the media moves on. The next story is now the headline. Partners from outside the area go home, and the community starts to think about what long-term recovery means for them. So here's what that long haul can look like. We call this the rule of 10. It's not a hard, fast rule because we know that many things can impact how long it takes for a community to recover. But for planning purposes, the rule of 10 helps us to kind of get an idea. So if the rescue phase is 3 days, then the relief phase is going to be 30 days. And if the relief phase is 30 days, then the recovery phase is going to be 300 days. So if you look at all of that, a disaster that took 3 days for search and rescue is going to take close to a year to fully recover. That's, plus or minus. We often say that relief is a sprint, but recovery is a marathon. Long-term recovery efforts in Mississippi in partnership with UMCOR and numerous community and faith-based organizations continue to address the long-term unmet needs for families impacted by disasters across Mississippi. Following the Winter Storm Fern, we have been instrumental in helping long-term recovery for 6 families that were assisted, serving 17 individuals, and 1 family in Sharkey County also received assistance. From 2025 to the present, a total of 13 homes have been repaired in Monroe County as part of the ongoing recovery from the 2023 tornado disaster. That's just a couple of examples of the ongoing recovery work that our Mississippi Disaster Response Team has been part of. So as I mentioned, we now have district coordinators. Our conference district response coordinator is Teresa Radcliffe, who's in the Red Clay Hills district. Our conference early response team teacher, trainer, and coordinator is Willie Morris, who is in the Capitol River district. Gulf Pines district the team there is led by David Huffman. Red Clay Hills district is led by Dwayne Scoggins. The Capitol River district is blessed with 2 coordinators, Stephen Cunningham and Ron Sims. And the Central District is led by Reverend Gene Bramlett. And like I said, we've just gotten this in place in recent days and our weeks, and we've been working toward orientation, getting them together, because part of this is building relationships one with another and knowing the resources in your communities. The Northern Hills District also with West Parton. So let's see, I'm going to close this out. And that's a lot of information in a relatively short time. I thank you for your attention. If you have questions, you certainly are free to contact my office. Grab me at conference next week, and we can have a chat about it. Know that you can request that early response team training and other things that will be going on. And I will turn it now to Mrs. Kathleen Smith, our conference president of the United Women in Faith. Thank you so much.
Greetings. I am Kathleen Smith, Mississippi Conference United Women in Faith President. You might ask, what is or who are United Women in Faith? Well, we are women that has a vision that focus on women, children, and youth. We act for justice and transform communities. Tonight, I'll be talking to you about unstoppable movement. We have dreamed it, we believe it, and we're going to do it. It's time to talk. It's time to dream. And it is time to build. Because when women of faith put our love into action, we are unstoppable. We are a sisterhood, helping women find a spiritual home field with a purpose, sisterhood, and action. We are ready to grow. Whether you are leading or you want to lead a UWF unit that is of a local church in our 5 districts, or you might want to be concerned about a district president. uh, even our United Women District membership, nurture, and outreach. They are concerned about reaching out, finding more women become part of United Women in Faith. You might be passionate about sharing this unspiritual or this unstoppable movement, inviting more women into United Methodist Women in every district, which is 5 districts. And we are a 4-year planning or a journey to reach out to women with our message of real faith. For instance, if you are in one of the 5 districts, we are asking our membership nurturing and outreach person to reach out to churches that has ladies that might not be a member of United Women in Faith. You have the opportunity to go to them and invite them, because we have a goal for the conference to reach out and get those ladies that they might get involved with United Women in Faith. We have 5 district presidents that you might want to touch base with, and I want you to feel free to make contact with them. And if you want to know more about United Women in Faith, I am available to answer your questions or our district president. Again, like I say, we believe that we can do it. We dreamed it, and we are going to do it because we are the women of faith that building up our membership in Mississippi Conference. We invite you to be with us on June 3rd, which is our women luncheon that will be held in
I believe Miss Kathleen's feed may have frozen for just a second. As hopefully she'll be able to rejoin us in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and transition to Mr. Cedric Hull, our United Methodist Men president, and then if Miss Kathleen is able to get her connection back stable, we'll transition back to let her finish her presentation.
Good evening. Again, I'm Cedric Hull, President of the United Methodist Men for the state of Mississippi. First, let me give honor to God, who's the head of my life, and thank him for allowing us to gather on this day. It is truly a blessing and an honor to speak before you as we celebrate the work, purpose, and calling of the United Methodist Men. Our theme today is United Methodist Men moving forward in faith, service, and brotherhood. These are not just words for a program, they are principles for our lives. They remind us who we are, whose we are, and what God has called us to do. The phrase moving forward is powerful because it reminds us that growth requires movement. You cannot move forward while holding on to the past. You cannot step into your purpose while staying comfortable in your present. God is always calling his people to go higher, do better, and become stronger. As men of God, moving forward begins with faith. Faith is the foundation of everything we do. The Bible tells us that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Faith is what keeps us going when life gets hard. Faith is what gives us strength when we feel weak. Faith is what reminds us that even when we don't understand God's plan, we can trust his process. As men, our families need to see our faith. Our children need to hear us pray. Our wives and loved ones need to see us trust God. Our communities need men who are unashamed to stand on the word of God. Because when a man stands strong in faith, his family stands stronger. But faith alone is not enough. Faith moves us into service. Jesus was the greatest example of service. Though he had all power, he humbled himself to serve others. He fed the hungry, healed the sick, and lifted the broken. He showed us that true leadership is found in serving. As United Methodist men, we are called to serve, not just inside the church walls, but outside them as well. Service means mentoring young men who need guidance. Service means helping families in need. Service means being present when someone is hurting. Service means being the hands and feet of Christ. Sometimes we think service has to be big, but often the greatest act of service are the simplest: a phone call, a prayer, a helping hand, and a word of encouragement. Service is how we show God's love in action. And finally, we move forward in brotherhood. Brotherhood is important because life was never meant to be lived alone. Every man needs another man in his corner, someone to encourage him, challenge him, pray for him, and hold him accountable. Brotherhood means we stand together in good times and bad times. When one brother is weak, we strengthen him. When one brother falls, we lift him up. When one brother succeeds, we celebrate him. The enemy often attacks men through isolation. He wants us disconnected, discouraged, and divided. But brotherhood reminds us that we are stronger together. Ecclesiastics say that two are better than one because if one falls, the other one can help him up. This is what United Methodist men should represent: a band of brothers walking together in faith, serving together in love, and growing together in Christ. The world needs us now more than ever. Our homes need men of faith. Our churches need men of service. Our communities need men of brotherhood. The next generation is watching us. They're watching how we live, how we lead, and how we love, and how we serve. So today, I challenge every man under the sound of my voice: keep moving forward. Moving forward in your prayer life. Moving forward in your leadership. Moving forward in your commitment to God. Moving forward in serving others. Moving forward in building strong relationship with your brothers in Christ. Do not allow fear, failure, or frustration to stop your progress. God is not finished with you yet. And if we move forward together in faith, in service, and brotherhood, we strengthen our families, empower our church, and transform our communities for the glory of God. Let us keep pressing, let us keep growing, and let us keep serving. Thank you. And also, before I get out here, we actually, United Methodist Men, we meet every fourth Tuesday at 7 p.m. I will put my name and number in the chat. So if there's any other men that's on this call would like to join us, please give me a call or send me a text or email, and I'll make sure you all get on the Zoom meeting. So with that being said, next I'll move it to Ms. Sarah Sanders for our poll questions. Thank you.
Actually, before we transition to Dr. Sanders, I'm going to allow Miss Kathleen. It looks like she's gotten her connection back.
Okay.
And so, Miss Kathleen, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Sorry about that. I don't really know where I stopped at that you didn't hear, but I think I was inviting, if you have registered, we are having our women luncheon June 3rd. That's the first day of our Mississippi Annual Conference, and it's at 11 a.m. at St. Luke United Methodist Church in Jackson. Thank you. And I was really saying at the end, we have dreamed it, we do believe it, and we're going to do it because we are unstoppable. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Kathleen. And Dr. Sanders, I'm going to transition back to you so that you can do our poll question.
You're muted, Dr. Sanders.
Yeah, I got it now. I was trying to move to that. I am Sarah Sanders, who is the Central District Lay Leader, to ask you some poll questions. So if we'll have number 2 poll question, please, on the screen. And you will mark only one choice out of these 5 choices on poll number 1. Which of the following communications topics would be most valuable for your next district training? Would you like social media ministry, building community on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube? Or effective church websites, creating user-friendly digital front doors for visitors? Third choice is local church crisis communications, preparing for when, not if. And I punched something on my screen. Local program, local press and public relations, sharing church stories and events with local media. Last choice is graphic design basics, creating clean flyers and graphics using free tools. Check one of these.
Sarah, folks in the
Y-
chat
y-
are saying that there is no questions and no poll.
We're still getting answers. If you cannot see the poll questions, try, especially if you are on a cell phone or an iPad, try swiping to either the left or the right. The poll is still open for both questions. But if you're on an iPad or an iPhone or just a cell phone in general, try swiping and seeing if it changes your view. Sometimes, especially the more mobile technological things require us to
Sarah,
swipe.
was I supposed to have given the second question at the same time?
Yes, and
Or
you can
we
go ahead and read
one
the
at a
second
time?
question. It all launches at the same time. So you can go ahead and read the second question too.
You can give it now, Dr. Sanders, if you like.
Okay. The next question, are you currently involved in a local United Women of Faith, which we call UWF, or United Methodist Men, UMM unit? One choice is yes, I'm currently involved in a local UWF or United Methodist Men unit. Or no, but I would like more information regarding either UWF or UMM. Please email Kathleen, is that on there? Email Kathleen Smith for more information regarding UWF. Or please email Cedric Hull for more information regarding UMM. Last choice is no, but I'm currently content with the amount of information that I have. 3 choices on that second question.
If you're having trouble viewing the second question, if you can see the first question, try scrolling down. I also am putting Miss Kathleen and Mr. Cedric's email addresses in the chat. I posted it a minute ago, but just so that if you do want more information, you'll have their contact information directly.
Sarah, if you are speaking for us, we cannot hear you. You're muted.
Thanks. Thank you. What I was saying is if you submitted the poll before you answered the second question, it won't let you go back in. I realized that after. It won't let you go back in if you had already submitted it without answering that second question. But I am capturing the responses in the chat, and so we'll be able to get you in contact. Also, please do, those of you who are saying yes, you would like more contact information, remember that we don't necessarily have your email addresses, so please capture Cedric Hull for United Methodist Men and Miss Kathleen Smith for United Women in Faith. Please capture their email addresses and email them directly, because if you respond in the chat, we may not know. If it just shows up iPhone, we don't know how to put you in contact with them. So please make sure that you do reach out to them directly.
Sarah, I'm wondering if people close the poll question, if that is the problem. If you close it, how do they get it back up?
I think you would have to go to the bottom if you're on a computer. I can speak a little bit closer to that. If you're on a computer and you look at the bottom of your screen, you would need to click on the polls and quizzes button again, I think, to get it to pop back up. So that is accurate, I think, Tom, that if you X'd it out to begin with, it may not be automatically popping back up anymore.
There you go.
Okay, and I'm going to stop sharing that. Okay. So at this time, I think we're ready to move on to the Immigration Task Force update and some information about our Trinity mission from Dr. Kaida, from Ms. Kaida Johnson, our Associate Conference Lay Leader.
Thank you, Sarah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kaida Johnson. I'm the Associate Conference Lay Leader. I'm going to give you an update on what's happening across our conference in the Latino communities, as well as the work of the Immigration Task Force. The Trinity Mission is a Latino United Methodist community in Forest. They are very active and have begun training members who are interested in serving their congregations as lay servants. They also have a member who's interested in becoming a minister. So the Holy Spirit is definitely moving in that community. El Encuentro del Cartel de Cristo is a gathering of Latina women from the Mississippi Conference, as well as the Sisters in Christ from the Memphis area, who got together on May 16 at Galloway United Methodist in Jackson. The Cartel de Cristo was started by the Latino women in La Misión in New Albany. It is an alliance of women from diverse backgrounds, united with one goal in mind: to share the love of Christ. Earlier this year, Bishop Louis Logan invited laity and clergy to join the Immigration Task Force to help develop a plan for the Mississippi Conference to equip clergy and laity to better help and serve the immigrant communities during these challenging times. Laity and clergy from all 5 districts of the Mississippi Conference answer the call to participate. The task force has met 4 times and done incredible work in such a short period of time, and I'm honored to lead the members of that task force. The task force set out to see the issue of immigration through a biblical lens, not a political one. We acknowledged in our first meeting that we're all children of God, created in His image. And with that in mind, we set out to create our mission statement for the task force. Our mission statement reads, guided by the United Methodist Church's commitment to justice and human dignity, we, the Immigration Task Force of the Mississippi Annual Conference, affirm that every person is a child of God with sacred worth. Created in the image of God, all people are called to love and respect one another as neighbors. As followers of Jesus Christ, we commit ourselves to seeking justice, loving mercy, and walking humbly with God. The task force has focused its work on finding ways that will help us humanize all people involved in the immigration issue, gather ideas on how to educate clergy and laity on topics such as cultural sensitivity, hospitality, discipleship, education of the immigrant community in issues such as immigration pathways and cultural sensitivity, and finding a way to connect those people in our conference who are interested in participating in immigration reform with those organizations already involved in that work. More information will be coming in the near future through our communication channels, including a landing page on our Mississippi Conference website. We will share articles in the Circuit Rider. We have a lot of ideas that we want to put in place to share this information with you. If you would like to receive additional information, Sarah will share the email for the Immigration Task Force in the chat so you can contact us. Now I'm going to pass it over to Lent Ross, who is the district lay leader for Northern Hill District. He's going to share with us some mission minutes from his district.
Thank you very much. A lot of you guys may be wondering, and ladies, wondering what other districts, what other parts of the state, what other churches are serving in various mission projects for their area. Up here in the northern part of the state, one of the things that we did, Maples Memorial United Methodist and several other churches got together and went down to Camp Lake Stevens. You heard we had got cold up here at the first of the year, and a lot of damage down through that part of the state. And a group of the men went from the different churches in the northern district, went to Camp Lake Stevens and helped clean up down there. It was a mess, trees down, limbs down, everything. The area's got a long way to go, but we're making headway. One of the other things I'd like to mention going on up in this part of the state is M25 Ministries. This actually started as Matthew 25. It was Greg Hazelrig and his group out of Baker's Chapel United Methodist. They changed the name over to M25 Ministries. What this group does is get together once a week and they go to downtown and midtown areas of Memphis, Tennessee. They serve the homeless people, the people that are needy, hungry, just living in poverty and need something to eat. They bring food to them every week, clothes, bug spray, all kinds of different things. They go downtown every Tuesday night, rain or shine, and unless the roads are icy or it falls on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. But these guys are really reaching out. They're serving up to 150 and 200 people per week, reaching out, feeding them, providing them clothing, listening to them, loving them. That's what's going on up in my part of the world. I'm going to go over to Dr. Sarah Sanders and let's hear from her.
I am Sarah Sanders from the Central District. We're right below Northern Hills. But anyway, I have several churches that have let me know their mission, and I'm going to take them in alphabetical order. So that's how they're to be done. Big Creek and Sturgis Charge are proud of the differences they're making in their community with blessing boxes. Congregants fill the blessing boxes with household staples, and needy families in the community help themselves as needed, and that's been well accepted. The next is Cleveland First. The congregation supports their budget by giving, and listen to this, tithes, their tithes to missions. What a great idea. One of their projects is called March for Mayors, and that's MAYORS. This is a meal packing event shared with St. Luke United Methodist Church in Cleveland. 6 Delta cities are involved, and each city provides one type of non-perishable to be boxed with the other items. Cleveland selected peanut butter. The boxes are distributed in the communities surrounding the 6 cities. Another project is called Extra Full Table. This past March, 20,000 meals were packed by representatives from 4 Delta cities. That's Clarksdale, Cleveland, Greenville, and Leland. Each meal contains Mississippi-grown rice that's mixed with dried red beans, a flavor packet, and a nutrition supplement. These meals are distributed only in Mississippi. Cleveland First also helps support a community youth ministry called The Well by providing financial assistance and needed supplies. The ministry has grown from 1 night a week to 2 nights a week. Junior high group meets Wednesdays, senior high group meets Fridays, and each group has over 100 participants. The next church is Columbiana in Winona. They offer a community outreach program called Coffee Talk. Every 3rd Saturday, people gather at Columbiana UMC to enter into conversation about a topic that's been introduced by a facilitator. An example of a topic is, are you doing what the Lord calls you to do? They will take this ministry to other churches and to other gathering places. They have received many requests. Military Chapel in Steens. They take Jesus to the street. That ought to make the bishop happy by offering free food and music in the church parking lot, which has great visibility from a main highway. And then they go to the Andrew Grove Community Center, where they participate in a back-to-school drive to provide resources for children. In addition, they have a late fall festival in October for free games and food for children. The last church that I'm sharing is St. James in Columbus. They are active in physical and mental health concerns in the community as well as in the church. In February, which is the Heart Month, matters related to heart health. In April, they focused on child abuse awareness. Throughout the year, they have several projects going. A pantry box is in the church parking lot. It's maintained by its members to benefit people in need. And they participate in the Columbus Community Action Coalition to focus on mental health stigma elimination. That's the report from Central District. Thank you. Oh, I need to tell who's coming next. And that will be Mary Simpson from Red Clay Hills. Come on, Mary.
Thank you, Sarah. The Red Clay Hills District have 3 mission centers. The Chata Mission, located slightly west of Philadelphia. They serve the Boca Chetta, Pearl River, and Redwater communities. Also, through the Tribal Children and Family Services, all 8 tribes are served through Operation Christmas Gift. Trinity Mission Center for Hispanic Ministries, located in Forest. They serve the surrounding Hispanic communities. I was unable to verify the different ministries they provide. The Wesley House Community Center is located in Meridian and Philadelphia. Within the Meridian Center is the Christian Relief Program. In the month of April, almost 800 food bags were distributed. In this month, as of May 8th, 350 food bags has been distributed. Also housed within the center is the Child Advocate Center and the Sexual Assault Crisis Center. The Wesley House is a place where the clients receive a hand up and not a hand out. And now I will pass it over to John Watson from the Capitol River District.
All right. Thank you for having me today. I'm John Watson, a member of Parkway Hills United Methodist Church, and I would like to share a few thoughts on my favorite ministry, our partnership with Galloway United Methodist Church's Grace Place. Grace Place began in the main Galloway Church building and later moved to the old conference building where it meets today. What started as a vision has become something deeply real and deeply sacred. Today, Grace Place is supported by 4 United Methodist churches in our local district working together to serve our neighbors in Jackson. That cooperation alone is a beautiful witness to what church can and should be. When I think about what Grace Place means to me, I think about walking into the chapel at Galloway. It's peaceful, it's welcoming. We hear uplifting sermons and we sing hymns and enjoy sacred music from volunteers and local musicians. And then we have communion. At the end of the service, we share communion with some of the city's most vulnerable neighbors. And I'll tell you, everything feels just a little more real there. There are no titles, no barriers. We're simply people in need of grace, praying together at the same table. Grace Place is friendships forming. It's teamwork. It's conversations that matter. It's seeing smiles on faces when someone receives a warm meal and feels seen and valued. Grace Place reminds me that our role is simply to show up faithfully and humbly and make space for the Holy Spirit to do the deep, transforming work that changes all of us for the better. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Kay West.
Thank you. Again, I'm the district lay leader for Gulf Pines District, and I want to tell you what's happened in our district. The Gulf Pines District Laity Rally focus this year was missions of the local church, and it provided information on various ministries, both inside and outside the churches throughout the district, such as Gulfport First United Methodist Church. They identified a need for worship opportunities for children and youth on the autism spectrum and instituted Embrace, a worship service designed specifically for them. In Picayune, Trinity United Methodist Church partners with community leaders to support the Forge project, which serves at-risk 7th and 8th grade boys without dads, teaching them positive and productive life skills. Main Street United Methodist Church in Hattiesburg creates opportunities with other local churches and organizations to serve and fellowship through the formation of faith hubs. These are small groups tailored to unique needs of the participants in each individual group. There are so many missions being supported and ongoing that it would be impossible to cover them all in just a few minutes. But as we did at the Laity Rally, a list of many of the known missions was available for anyone who wanted to pick up a list and explore the various ideas for their own church ministries. So if you would like a listing, look me up at the annual conference next week, and I will be glad to see that you get that information. Now, Tom Wicker is going to walk us through the next poll questions.
Okay, thank you, Kay. The next poll questions. First, in relation to the Immigration Tax Force update and lay servant ministries at Trinity Mission in Forest, and this is multiple choice, so select all of them that you desire to. I would like more information is one choice. I would like about the task force. I would like more information about lay servant classes. I would like more information about Trinity Mission. I would like more information about Spanish offerings of lay servant classes, or I do not need any additional information at this time. So make your selections there. And the second one that's up is also multiple choice, and that is after hearing the ministry moment updates from each district, you are feeling excited or hopeful or inspired or a combination thereof. So we can't, due to copyright restrictions, I can't do the Jeopardy music, but you can be answering. Actually, I could. Da 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 ba da ba da da. All right. So keep answering. And I'm relying on Sarah to keep up with the answers and to tell me when those answers are available. What is this?
We're still getting a few responses, so we'll give everybody a second one. Okay, it looks like we've got most people have been able to answer.
Okay, well, I'm looking to see there we go. There's the results coming up. And some folks don't need any additional information because they already have enough, but got quite a few that want more information on lay servant classes and on the immigration task force. And that's number.
Please make sure I'll repost again. I posted the immigration task force email if you in the chat a few minutes ago, but I'll repost it again. So make sure that you capture that. Also, I'm going to post my email address so that if you have questions about the Spanish offerings of lay servant classes or about lay servant classes in general, or any of these topics, you can email me and I can help get you connected to the correct people that can help you.
Okay. And we have results on the next question.
You may have to scroll down. They're on the same. Let's see if that's.
There we go. Okay, yeah. All right, so hopeful is the number one. Inspired is number two as far as the responses, closely followed by excited and gratitude, and 14% for connection. So there you are. And I'll let it move on to evaluation of tonight's session. Back to Kaida Johnson.
Hi, everyone. We would like for you to take a minute to complete their evaluation for tonight before we pass it on to our last speaker, Ms. Vera Thomas. You should see the evaluation on your screen. If you are on a computer, you will need to scroll down so you can see all the questions. If you are on your phone, you will need to swipe to see the questions on your screen. Please make sure that you answer all the questions. This evaluation will help us plan the session for next year and will help us plan our year, our coming year as well. The first question, how satisfied are you with the content presented in this session? Second question, how satisfied are you with the amount of information presented in today's session? Third, was the length of the session appropriate? Fourth, do you prefer this as a virtual session or an in-person session? And this, like I mentioned, will help us in the planning and timing in the future for annual conference sessions. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Ms. Vera Thomas, our conference lay leader.
Thank you, Kaida. And I'm waiting for the poll to close. There we go. Before I give my final remarks, which are very short, Sarah Halford, I'd like for you to answer two questions for our viewing audience. One is, can they have slides of our meeting tonight?
Yes, ma'am. I think that we'll plan to post them with, and I did try to answer this one, but just so that everybody's aware, they will be posted with the link. We will not email them out to you directly because we don't necessarily we didn't capture your email addresses when you logged in. And so they will be posted with the recording when it's posted on the conference website.
Okay, and Jasmine, thank you, Sarah. Jasmine just put in the chat where we can find it when it is available. And that's going to be on our Facebook page for the conference. The other thing that I would like for Sarah to answer for us, because we have extended the number for our laity dinner, and I'm not sure where we are with that. We reached our capacity, and then we were very fortunate to be able to expand our numbers. So someone wanted to know if we are at capacity or if they still might have an opportunity to purchase a ticket.
I will say this, and I will say this very tentatively. How I say this, I have 5 tickets remaining. However, I'm sure there are a few of you on here who have sent me emails today. You are included in this count. I have not forgotten you. I just have not had a chance to call you back today. I promise if you have called me or emailed me or left me a voicemail, you are included in the tickets. I will call you tomorrow. But with those people, even with those spots, I have 5 tickets left. They are on a first in my inbox, first in my voicemail. That is how I'm prioritizing them. They are specific meal types. And so make sure you reach out. If you have a preference, go ahead and let me know, because it saves me a little time. And the meal choices are chicken, salmon, and pork, just so you're aware. But yes, I do have 5 tickets, and that is including the people who are still currently in my inbox.
Thank you, Sarah. I want to take this opportunity to thank our panelists and our guests for sharing these important updates and inspiring messages with us. And most of all, I want to thank you, our audience, for taking the time from your busy schedules to be with us this evening. The Board of Laity is made up of not only district lay leaders, United Women in Faith and United Methodist Men presidents, their representatives, the conference director of Lay Speaking Ministries, our presiding bishop, the associate lay leader and conference lay leader. There are also 4 slots currently vacant for 2 lay women and 2 lay men. We're seeking to fill these vacancies with young adults who might be bilingual. If you're interested in joining our team, I invite you to contact me at layleader@mississippi-umc.org. And I believe you will find that in the, not Q&A, but in the chat as well. We appreciate your attendance this evening. I know this has been a lot of information to assimilate and take in. So I do encourage you to look for the slides when they are posted on Facebook, the slides and the recording. Until we meet again, which I hope will be next week. And I want you to know that I look forward to seeing you and visiting with you. Blessings and peace to each of you.
Miss Vera, one last announcement that I was just sent a text to just make sure that we do clarify. The laity dinner is what we were talking about with those 5 tickets. The UWF luncheon is fully sold out. So
Right.
just to clarify, we are talking about the 5 tickets remaining for the laity dinner.
Okay,
not
so
UWF.
let me tell you where the laity dinner will be held, and that will help. And when. It will be held on Thursday, June 4th, 5:30 p.m. at Galloway United Methodist Church. So that is our dinner time. And I should say also that this is the first time in my knowledge that we have tried a laity dinner. And we are very pleased with the response that everyone has given, and we just hope that you will enjoy the meal. If there's nothing else, we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, everyone.